You ever sit there knowing exactly what you need to do, but still not doing it? You've watched all the motivational videos, you've read the quotes, saved the reels, nodded your head at all the life advice, and yet, when it's time to actually show up, nothing happens. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like a guest who never tells you when they're visiting. But discipline? Discipline is like the quiet, consistent neighbor who wakes up before dawn every day, whether it rains, snows, or the sun is shining. And the Stoics? They understood that. They didn't live their lives hoping to feel like it. They acted regardless of the feeling. Because for them, the highest power wasn't emotion, it was reason, logic, duty. This video isn't about some fluffy idea to make you feel good for a moment. It's about giving you a timeless, tested, unshakable mindset. One that will still work when your motivation has long packed its bags and left. Let's be real. Most people wait for a perfect mood, a spark, or some magical inspiration to get started. But imagine if Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, had waited to feel motivated before taking on his responsibilities. He didn't. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being." He didn't say as a CEO or as an emperor. He said, as a human being. Why? Because duty is not about your title. It's about your nature. So let me ask you, what would happen if starting today, you decided to show up not when you feel like it, but because that's who you are? Discipline isn't sexy. It's not loud. You won't get dopamine hits every time you act on it. But it's what builds empires. It's what finishes books. It's what turns dreams into results. Let's talk about this deeper. We live in an age of distractions, notifications, endless content, dopamine addiction. You can literally spend your entire day chasing stimulation and still feel empty by nightfall. Why? Because chasing stimulation is not the same as creating meaning. Motivation gives you a hit. Discipline gives you a life. Epictetus, the Stoic, slave-turned-philosopher, had a line that hits deep. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In today's terms, stop talking about what you're going to do, just do it. People love to say they'll start Monday. But what if you stop needing a Monday to become serious? What if you drop the drama and simply began? I'm not saying discipline is easy. It's not. That's the point. There's no applause when you wake up at 5 a.m. to work on your craft. There's no crowd cheering when you shut your phone off to focus. But that silence, that's where growth lives. The Stoics didn't live in comfortable times. They faced war, exile, betrayal, even plague. And yet they believed that your response to adversity defines you more than any achievement ever could. They trained themselves mentally and emotionally to do what needed to be done, regardless of whether it was easy, fun, or even fair. They understood that your emotions are not reliable rulers. Today you're energized, tomorrow you're drained. But your values, your discipline, that can be constant. Imagine if every time your mind said, "I don't feel like it," you responded, "I didn't ask for your permission." That's the Stoic muscle. You train it every day, not with grand gestures, but with small, consistent choices. Waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. Writing that page when the words won't flow. Eating what nourishes you instead of what numbs you. It's in those choices that the new version of you is built, quietly, relentlessly. There's this popular idea now, follow your passion. But what the Stoics would say is, build your passion. Build it through effort, through discipline. Passion without discipline is a fire without direction. It burns out fast, or worse, burns everything around it. Let me ask you something. Who do you want to be a year from now? Visualize it for a second. That version of you, healthier, sharper, more focused, more fulfilled. Do you really think that person is fueled by random bursts of motivation? Or are they built through repeated, disciplined action? Now zoom out. If you only act when you feel like it, where will you be in 10 years? Still stuck? Still starting over? Still chasing motivation like it's a drug you can't quite quit? But if you commit to discipline, however imperfectly, you'll look back and thank yourself. It won't always be dramatic. It'll be subtle. Your decisions will stack. Your mind will strengthen. Your environment will shift. And suddenly, you'll realize you've become someone different. Not overnight, not magically, but steadily. Now here's the real secret. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about love. Love for your future self. Love for your purpose. Love for what you could become if you stopped waiting and started living. Seneca said, "While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." What are you waiting for? There's no perfect time, no cosmic green light, just this moment, and what you choose to do with it. Now look, I get it. Discipline feels heavy. It feels like work. That's because it is. But let me flip that perspective. Every time you choose discipline, you're freeing yourself from something: regret, guilt, mediocrity. Every act of discipline is a small act of rebellion against your lesser self. You don't need to feel motivated, you need to feel committed. There's a difference. Motivation says, "I want to." Discipline says, "I will." And "I will" builds character. Think of the greatest artists, warriors, thinkers. They weren't born with more motivation than you. They just did the thing. Every day, especially on the days they didn't feel like it. And you can too. Start small, one habit, 1 hour, one commitment, it compounds. Today it's 5 push-ups, tomorrow it's a full workout, today it's writing 1 paragraph, tomorrow it's a chapter, today it's 1 mindful decision, tomorrow it's a lifestyle. But don't overthink it, don't wait for the mood, just begin. The mind will catch up to the body in motion. The Stoics didn't separate thought and action. To think well was to live well. To know what's right and not do it, that was unacceptable. So don't tell yourself you'll change when you're ready. Get ready by changing. Let your discipline speak louder than your doubt. Because here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. No motivational quote. No perfect sunrise. No dramatic turning point. It's you. It's always been you. You've got to decide, am I going to live at the mercy of my moods, or am I going to master them? One will own you. The other will free you. And don't mistake discipline for suffering. That's a myth. Discipline is liberation. When you choose your struggle, life becomes simpler. You no longer need to justify your decisions. You live aligned. You wake up and you know who you are. You keep the promises you made to yourself, not out of pressure, but out of pride. That's what the Stoics knew. So the next time you're lying in bed, scrolling, procrastinating, bargaining with yourself, remember this. The version of you who shows up right now, even in the smallest way, is closer to greatness than the one waiting to feel inspired. Discipline over motivation, because doing the thing when it's hard is what makes it meaningful. So start, not tomorrow, not next week. Now you've got one life. Don't wait to feel like it.